Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I have another Easter project for you, and this one is this bunny. It's a cutout from Dollar General. It's a little bit thicker than the cutouts you get from Dollar Tree. I believe this one cost $2 if I remember correctly. So it was raw wood, and I've already put two, maybe three, I don't remember, coats of white chalk paint on this. And then I'm going to kind of do a technique, kind of a sponge painting type of technique, because I want this bunny to be like a marbled brown color. So I have some home decor chalk paint in the color sheepskin. This is by Folk Art. I got this at Joann's. So I'm going to pour some out into my palette. And then I have some home decor chalk paint from Joann's in the color cinnamon. And then I have some just Craft Smart acrylic paint from Michael's, and it's just brown. So when you chalk paint or sponge paint, you want half of your brush in one color and half of your brush in another. Okay, so that it's half of the brushes on each one. And then I'm just going to start, and I'm just dabbing straight up and down and moving my brush back and forth. I'm going to go ahead and paint his tail, and then I'll come back and redo it in the color that I want it. I kind of want him to be a little darker on the outside than he is on the inside. And this really just kind of helps with shading a lot. Okay, so then back into the brown, the cinnamon and the sheepskin. When my color starts getting a little muddied up like it is here on the ear, I'm just going to come back and just kind of wipe my brush, getting two separate colors again. You can wipe it on a paper towel, whatever works best for you. I'm just pouncing straight up and down. Now I'm going to dip a little bit into the brown. This is an experiment here. Then I'm going to go to the two separate colors. I have a spot that looks a little light. I just kind of dab in a little more of the dark color and then pounce and blend it in. Now I have my bunny kind of looking a little bit more of a red bunny than a brown bunny. That's okay, because I have more to do. So I took my heat gun to this to dry it out, because I'm going to do my second layer of color. Now you can stop here if you like this color on the bunny, but I ultimately want him to be a little bit more brown rather than this red color. So this is good for underneath. And so now I'm going to dip half of my brush back into the sheepskin color and half of my brush into the brown. Okay, and I'm just going to dab real quick. And then I'm going to start here on the edge, and I'm going to add brown blended with the white around the edge. I'm just trying to add layers of texture and color. And I look at something and try to figure out, okay, that's what it looks like in real life. How can I get that? You want your brush to be mostly dry. But always keep your dark color on the same side. Blend into that lighter. Not to drag your brush, make sure you're going up and down with it. If you start getting it too muddy, then stop and let it dry a little bit and then go back and attack it. So now I'm feeling like I've got a little bit too much white. So I'm going to flip my brush and I'm going to dip the white into the cinnamon and the brown side back into the brown. I'm going to go back and forth on my palette just to kind of blend the two just a little bit, and then I'm going to lightly pounce. This is going to put a little bit of that orange back in. It's going to soften some of this white. I really like the ears, so I'm not going to do any more up there. And I always look at it as it's just paint, and if you don't like how it turns out, you can repaint it and start again. Okay, now I'm going to dip the whole thing in brown. Got enough under layers, and there's going to be plenty of the color still left in the brush, but I'm really getting my brown paint now, because overall I want this bunny to be a brown bunny. And I'm tapping very lightly, and I'm just trying to blend in all of the lines. Once you have something you like, stop. I like that, so I'm going to stop with that part. Now I'm just getting a small flat brush, and I'm dipping just into the white, and I'm going to do the little tail. Straight up and down, don't brush. Because in my opinion, every bunny needs a little white tail. Okay? And that's where I'm stopping with the painting of my bunny. Now I need to give this time to dry before we put the face on. So if you're not a professional artist or you're not super good at this, I like to practice first. So I took this bunny and traced it onto a piece of white paper. And then I kind of drew out how I wanted my face to be. And I decided that this isn't the ear that is forward. After I got it drawn, I realized this ear is the more predominant ear. So it's this one that I should be putting the marks in. After I got to looking at it, I thought, that's not what I want. And then I'm going to kind of put some little zigzags here for hair and some over here as well. Then I've got the nose, and I'm going to try to use a light gray for the whiskers. Okay, and that's kind of where my eye is. So I've mixed some paint. I've taken some of that pink that I've been using on all my projects and added some white to it. And I'm going to take a tiny little brush and I'm going to paint. You can totally draw in the ear if that helps you. Make sure that it comes down to the edge of the head so that you can add those little hairs. And remember, paint usually dries a little bit darker than when it's wet. So don't worry that this doesn't look super pink right now. It's going to dry darker. I'm going to let that dry. Okay. Then I have a black alcohol marker. You can use a Sharpie for this. Alcohol marker is just what I have on hand. So I'm going to put my bunny next to my drawing. And it took me a few times of coloring to figure out where I wanted the eye to go and what angle. So I'm going to draw that on and start to color it in. Now I left a little white line in there. And then I have a very fine little line. I'm going to try to use this marker, and I'm just going to put a little line here. So that kind of makes the cheek, and so that gives him the first eyelash, then the second little eyelash, the third one's a little longer, and then this one just goes straight up. So there's my bunny's eye. And that I just simply didn't color in. Okay, that was an ultrafine Sharpie, by the way. And then his nose is just a triangle. That got a little bigger than what it did on my drawing, and that's okay. And now I have whiskers. So I'm going to do 3 little dots. Okay. And then practice with your pen. Can you make them thin enough? And I'm going to start and just pull them out. Okay. Little whiskers on my bunny. You can use your fine point pen for that too if that's more comfortable. And down here I have little lines. Not entirely sure I like those. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Is this his back foot? Is this his front foot? I think it's his back foot. So I had the lines angling the wrong direction. Okay. And then I've got the shading showing his ears here, but with my very fine marker, I'm just gonna put some definition into that ear shading. Okay. Then I'm going to take my brown marker, and I'm gonna go, I have 2 choices in brown. I think I'm going to start with the lighter one, and then if I need to, I can go to the darker one. So what I'm looking at is these little hairs right here. With my darker marker, I'm just going to kind of outline the bunny just a little bit. Just kind of making him look a little scruffy, a little fluffy. You do not have to do this part if you do not want to. If you're nervous about this, start with a light color like I did with the ears. I'm not going to do too much fluff on the face, but I am going to outline it. And don't be afraid to hold your marker in a different direction than you normally would. Now you could do this with black, but I prefer to use a color that is in the piece already. That way it blends a little more. I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to outline the pink insert on his ear and the line down the middle. If you wanted a rosy cheek on your bunny, you could do that. And here on the tail, I'm just putting little hash marks. Just showing the definition of his tail, and then I am going to go ahead and outline it. I think this bunny is done except for a little bow around his neck. Now here you have a choice. You can tie all the way around his neck, or you can just tie a bow and glue it on. I prefer to just tie the bow on if I can, because then if I want to change it out, I can. It's not hot glued on. Okay, and then as I go in, I twist the ribbon so that this loop has the bunnies standing right side up as well. Tighten the loops up to where you like them. And I'm going to leave these ends on my ties pretty short. And boom, he's all done. I think he looks adorable. Now, if you don't want a brown bunny and you want a white bunny, I did that too. I just took a light gray marker and did all the things I showed you with the brown. Here I was, because it was white, I was able to use a marker to color that in. And I just did all my definition with gray, and then I did my eyeball. Okay, so this is a two-sided bunny and can be either way you want it, and then you can change it back and forth, or if it's on a two-sided tray, that's fine too. All right, we give you a close-up of his face so you can see it. When I originally started doing this, I thought, oh, okay, he's got ears. So I tried to put pink in both ears, and I got to thinking about how a bunny looks. And a bunny, if you're looking at his profile, you're going to see the inside of one ear and the outside of the other ear. So don't get tricked like I did at first, okay? All right, this is my little bunny. I think he's adorable. Okay guys, there you have it, my paint it yourself Easter bunny. If you like this, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. Let me know what you're thinking about it in the comment section below. Let me know, have you ever painted anything using that pouncing technique? It's kind of the sponge technique from the early 90s, maybe late 80s, early 90s. And I liked the way that that technique gives lots of dimension and lots of texture to the project, and I can layer colors in there. So if you're going to paint something that you want to look somewhat realistic, look at what you are painting, look at some pictures of real things, and try not to look just at the surface color. Look at all the little flecks and specks of colors that you see, and try to incorporate those into your paintings somehow. Okay, that's why I layered on the rusty cinnamon color and then went over it with a darker brown, because when I looked at the bunny, I saw some kind of orangey colors in there, and I wanted some orangey colors underneath the darker brown. So that's why I chose to do the way I did it. Okay, so I hope you like this project, and I hope you'll try it for yourself. I think that this technique is one of the easiest for blending colors, but it doesn't give you the smooth same shading as you would if you layered it on and did it all the right way. But sponge painting definitely, I think, has its place, especially in the crafting world. So I think my bunny looks pretty cute. Anyway, stay home guys, craft your stash, be safe, flatten that curve, and let's get past this coronavirus thing. All right, this has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.